Smart 24, driving business.
Well, a very good morning to you watching. Today is indeed the last day of the week. Hoping that you already walked into it. You've already, you're planning to wrap up the week very blessed. Anyway, my name is Masika Tsime and welcome to Smart Men's Business, your daily kickstarter from Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. till 9:55 a.m. And of course, we are here to give you information that you need. We can learn together, we can laugh together, and of course share the knowledge that we bring on board. And of course, don't forget, these conversations from 7 to 9 a.m. are going to be proudly brought to you by Zabu. So in any case, if you want to invest in government-bond securities, Zabu says no need for hustle. All you need to do is reach out to them. If you dial the USSD code, that is *292#. Then you can follow the prompts. There's also a slot for learning products. You can go straight to the bonds, you can sell, you can buy. There's a lot to learn from Zabo. All you need to do is invest minimum 15,000 Ugandan shillings. You can just invest that or more depending on how much you want your returns in investments to be like. So Zabo is always operational every day except for weekends, and of course public holidays from Monday to Friday from 8:15 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. Zabo says my money, my future, and they are powered by All Tech East Africa, telling you to do something new. Well, of course, I am joined with Godwin, and of course, we're going to be looking at a very important topic today, which I know most of you're planning, even over today, you're planning already to have different destinations you're going to hang out with and have good time, quality time with your friends and family. Anyway, good morning, Godwin.
Good morning, Mercy. Good morning. How are you? And good morning, our Smart Men's Business viewers. I hope you are all well rested and well. There's so many conversations around the landscape regarding tourism in Uganda. I know a lot of people have already planned their trips. Some already traveled with some of those really good jobs. But some people start to plan their trips in advance, like in January. People have already paid up for their trip. But are you also planning to visit your own country in Christmas? Are you planning to visit your own country in the holiday season? Are you inviting your people from the diaspora to really come and visit? Because I know people come from the diaspora to then go to Kenya.
Oh my goodness.
They can pick their family here and go to Kenya, go to the Bahamas and other places. But we need to see how we can bolster the state of our tourism in Uganda. So that's very good conversations that we're going to have today.
That's very key. It's quite absurd, but anyway, but Uganda is actually growing when it comes to tourism. We have we have quite a number of tourist destinations compared to the rest of East Africa.
Right.
Very many.
I mean, we're known for our national parks, we're known for our wildlife, our culture. I mean,
the
just
beauty,
think about
the
it.
bird. Oh my God.
We are the pearl of Africa.
Yeah.
I mean, we should be spearheading the tourism movement in Africa, not Kenya. Because when people think of East Africa, they think of Kenya, Zanzibar, and other places. But Uganda should be at the realm. It should be at the helm of this tourism sector. Why? We have so much to offer. We have more than 30 tribes with more than 30 cultural dances, with more than 30 different staple foods in this country. So someone can come, especially for a lot of food bloggers. If you saw on YouTube, it's become such a huge thing where everyone goes to country by country tasting the local foods. And I'm already seeing other people testing their jollof rice. Everyone goes for jollof rice and chicken, gari and Caribbean cooking. They never highlight us. We have Rolex, we have chapati, we have millet and whatever. Obushera, it's shabwe.
Yes.
Right? We have local matoke chitoch. We have matoke here, cooked in different types of ways for katogo, the one that's smashed together. So from just a food perspective, we're the food capital of East Africa, right? We're the agricultural capital. That is also tourism in itself because there's food tourism. People come to taste the local foods as well as visit the different tribes.
Well, of course, Uganda is well known for having wildlife. We have different animals, name them all actually. Even the ones you would think they're, elsewhere. rare species lie in Uganda, mostly
Right.
for birds. Uganda has a lot of birds.
We do, and I have a friend of mine actually who he photographs a lot of the birds in Uganda, so he's
Yeah.
a professional bird watcher. It's actually a very, very
It's a good activity.
It's a very lucrative business as well. So it's a business that is not really looked into, but a lot of people abroad are obsessed with different types and species of birds. So we have a lot of species of birds that come in and out of the country depending on the season. So we have professional bird watchers, that check out the birds in season, what's happening, how they fish. So there's a lot to observe here, especially of course with the crested crane capital. Although at the time I was in Burundi and I saw so many crested cranes, I was thinking this should be in our country. Because I was at a restaurant and crested cranes would actually walk towards you. There's a restaurant, they have crested cranes in there, like little, almost like pets. And I'm thinking, but that's our national emblem. If you touched it in Uganda, you could be arrested for disrespecting the flag.
Well, of course, we have, and of course, we see that according to the 2019 report, actually, tourism contributed 7.7% on the GDP, and of course, it employs over 600,000 people directly and indirectly. So imagine the tour guides, we have the receptionists at the different accommodation centers. There is a lot tourism has to, for the years. The years back then, tourism was looked at as, if you did a course of hotel management or maybe tourism and hotel management, people would be like, what is that? It's a funny course. But now, guess what? People who studied are doing better.
It's interesting, people who studied, I know people who are professors in electrical engineering, professors in sciences. The person I particularly know has a tour company. So he started this business around before COVID, right?
Yeah.
He discovered, I'm always traveling and there's always people that I meet in these different conferences who want to visit the country. How about I become their tour guide? Meanwhile, he just started a company like that. He said, let me come. So whenever they come to visit, they invite their friends. I will be their official tour guide. I'll be the person that negotiates the hotel rates. I can even give them a bed and breakfast that is cheap. You negotiate with a bed and breakfast and you make a profit off the top. So tourism has become such an important sector that even on an individual level, you can also sign up and start to do this on the side. I actually do have a friend who does tours as well in Uganda. So what she does is, as people come in, she just shows them around rich restaurants to go to. So her friends are saying, actually, like, listen, of course, you're paying for my service. You pay an extra at the top. So I show you all the best places, all the best deals. Because we're thinking, a lot of tourists, when they come here, they're thinking, where can I get things cheaper? You've noticed in the taxis, they'll pay 10,000 from here to from here to Wanding, but the guy in the taxi is thinking, well, I've made such a score. But that's not fair. So when they have a person like a tour guide, it shows them where the best rates are, so they're not cheated. There's so many advantages to being a tour guide. They show them all the best destinations to go to and really bolster tourism within the country. So according to this article, we have quite a few destination places in Uganda that we're known for.
We have Bwindi,
Impenetrable National
Gorilla Park.
This is down all the way in Kabale. It's a big place, right? We also have Lake Bunyonyi, which is one of the deepest lakes in Africa, if not the second deepest lake in the world or in Africa. I'm not quite sure what the stats are, but I've been to Lake Bunyonyi. It looks still.
And there are a lot of, there's an activity, zip lining, you can go across the water.
You can go across the forest.
Boat
just
rides.
the weather in Kabale, they call it the Switzerland.
And they say it's best to go to swim in the morning because it's usually so cold.
It's
good to have that experience in the morning.
It's so disparate from the other weather within the rest of the country. So when you go there, you get to experience that cold weather. The fogginess in the morning is quite intense as well. We also have Queen Elizabeth National Park, which is a very common one, and we need to have a lot more people. I've been talking about this. I think I talked about this, Mercy. We need to promote a lot of domestic tourism.
Obviously.
You'd be shocked how many Ugandans have never been to any of these parks.
Never.
I can confess.
Except maybe for school time and all that. That's the only time they got.
Even when, because now in school times they're bringing just to Oma for the kids, right? But we need to promote this in schools. You've mentioned something really important. How about we give better deals to the schools, these national parks? Because I'm thinking schools are not going to, they only go to the zoo. We mainly go to the zoo but not to national parks because they can afford the zoo. But if they're able to have domestic rates for schools, for example, that's a really good one, where they encourage the kids to come and actually, we study this in SST, we study this in geography, but we never actually go on the grounds to see it. I know I'm very passionate when it comes to things Uganda by Uganda, right? So if they're able to give domestic rates for the schools, for the locals who want to travel in December, they don't have a lot of money, but they give different rates from the foreigners, because other countries do that as well. Where you find there's a rate for the foreigners who are visiting within the country, and there's also a rate for the internationals?
I feel like we would actually invest in domestic tourism, but I think there is that fear of, the high rates. I mean, I'm going to go with my family. I know the hotel is insanely high.
Right.
A room goes like for 200,000 a night. So imagine I have a family of 5.
Right.
How much is that?
And that's a very important thing that you mentioned, because you know what's funny? Ugandans will go to Kenya, they'll go to Switzerland,
and spend millions,
they'll go to Seychelles and spend more than here. Why? I have a feeling it's a marketing issue.
Yeah.
I don't think we're marketing enough to our domestic people here.
Yeah.
What people do, what most of these tour companies do, is they market to the foreign companies, and this is the period in October, November, December where people are already starting to travel. What the mistake we're making is we're not advertising enough to Mercy on Smart 24 TV, and we're not advertising enough on our local stations to the local people saying, hey, there's really good rates. There might even be good rates and we don't know about.
Yeah.
We just don't know about it because they're not
like
talking about them enough.
The thing I see the problem is that they have not done something exceptional. It's the same thing. I mean, how about you be like, this festive season, we have A, B, C, and D, and people are like, oh, this is different. I think I have to go back.
And that's part of the marketing and advertising, right? They need to put a marketing and advertising budget behind this tour, where they're like, listen, this December, the zip lining is going to be much different. We've put higher railings. So you guys, those who want to go harder, the bungee jumping is going to go even higher for those who are daredevils. Let them really change the marketing around what we can enjoy as peoples here. So we don't rush to go to the sea in Kenya. Those places are all beautiful and it's important to go. But how much money are you putting back into your own economy, guys? Into your own places to visit? There's so many things to do here, from the food to the culture. There are foods in Uganda I have not tasted. I'm guilty of this.
Oh yeah, I am definitely
There are foods in Uganda I have not tasted. I haven't been to Gulu yet. I have not been to Bali. I've been to a lot of central, western, southern, and I've been outside the country. But also this is a challenge to myself as well. I have not been to Gulu yet. I have not been to Arua.
You've not tasted Malewa. I've not tasted what is this?
Atapa.
Oh my goodness.
I've only tasted that I think once. But we need to exhaust a lot more of these little foods that we have in the different regions of the country, and it starts with us putting our dollars, saying, you know what, as a family this time let's go to Mbale, let's go to Mount Elgon, because I'm pretty sure there's nice activities that are happening, but they need to be marketed much better.
Yeah. Well, of course, we see that in 2019, actually, as of 2019, Uganda received 1.4 million international tourists, and of course, generating a revenue of 1.6 billion US dollars in revenue. And of course, some of the top top market sources that come for tourists touring actually in Uganda, United States, the US, we have Rwanda, we have Kenya, we have the UK, we have Democratic Republic of Congo. So those are the top 5
that come to visit the country, which is interesting. A lot of those countries that you mentioned, many of them are neighbors within the East African community, right? They're neighbors coming to Uganda to visit because they also understand how beautiful it is. When I was in Congo last year, I was shocked by how many people were like, oh my God, I'd love to go to Uganda. The food seems cheap. What they know us for is cheap alcohol, the nightlife. It's so much fun. Those are things we need to highlight. If that's what they know us for, let's put it in their faces and say, listen, free G for lots of guys who come here. There's a sponsorship on Uganda Warranty, sponsorship on Nile Breweries. Nile Breweries. And I mean, the marketing guys, whoever is in charge of the marketing, you need to put us on your board so we can help you make this happen, right? And we're also seeing, of course, one of the things that Uganda can do to improve the tourist sector, because it's improving steadily, but not where we need it to be. Invest in infrastructure. This includes improving roads, airports. Our airports definitely need to be improved. Compared to other airports, we're still lacking heavily, right? And other transportation infrastructure. For transportation, it has to be much easier for people to move back and forth to different parts of the country. This also includes investing in tourism infrastructure, such as hotels, lodges, and restaurants, putting more of them and improving their standard, really making it interesting, like you said. And then, of course, market Uganda as a tourist destination. These are things I talked about off the top of my head. Marketing Uganda as a tourist destination. Do you know what's marketed as East Africa's tourist destination? Zanzibar, Tanzania, Kenya. They are the top in terms of when you think about tourism, they think about, oh, Kenya. But Uganda has a lot to offer in terms of our gorilla watching. We have a lot of food culture, the dressing, the music, the dance, the drama. MDD in Uganda, I think, is the best in East Africa. We have Bach Simba, we have Raka Raka, we have dances from all over that you can go experience. At every wedding, I have to make sure I'm observing the local dances because it's fascinating to me to see that stuff.
Yeah, because of the different tribes. I had a friend once, and of course he stays in Jinja, and of course he sent me this beautiful picture of the bridge at night, the lights and all that, and he used his own phone and he posted on his Twitter, and people were liking it. Oh my God, where is this? Is this also? Is this the bridge? I'm like, wow.
And this is the bridge within Uganda, the new bridge. It's interesting, right?
I believe it actually crossed. Everyone got to know across East Africa, and they're like, oh,
and they're asking
so
this
is what is in Uganda.
Interesting. We have a lot to offer. Even in campus, a couple of central, there's so many places we haven't visited. Another thing we can do quickly as we finish this segment is improve the quality of the tourism services. We need to have better tourism services, guys. This includes training tourism workers and ensuring that tourism facilities are up to snuff, up to the standard. When we have the quality of tourist sectors, those tourists that are coming from America and all over are going to go back and talk about it. So that's a lot that we can do, and this conversation is going to continue throughout the hours all the way to 10 a.m. about tourism. So shortly we're getting into the press release.
Well, of course, today being a Friday, we are wrapping up the week, and I have a copy of a new vision, and of course making headlines here of officers without rainwater shortage facilities face 100 million fine. So if you have officers that do not have rainwater storage,
interesting.
You have to have it just in case you run out of water. That water could actually be of use. So of course here we see a government calls for calm over new reforms, and of course closed teachers' colleges. What next for the 1,400 affected staff?
Interesting. I'm continuing from that conversation around teachers. I think we've been talking about teachers for a minute, right? So teachers jailed over plot to leak exams. So we're seeing here there's a crackdown. The sextet was arrested following the sting operation by both the Uganda National Examinations Board officials and the police after the suspects shared social media links with different schools on how they can be contacted for the materials. So teachers are sort of cutting corners and trying to find extra money. And then in other conversation, we're seeing there's a job opportunity. I'm all about this, guys. We talked about job employment, youth unemployment in Uganda. It's an all-time high. So please check out the job opportunities list in the Daily Monitor. There's medical access, RTI International, Aga Khan University, Save the Children, Kenya Insurance, and others. Please look at that in the Daily Monitor this morning.
Oh my God, talking of tourism, I'm seeing 6-year-old tour guide makes headway with cultural tourism.
Is that interesting?
I love it.
I'm always saying that what the news predicts
the weather.
The weather, right? So everything that we're saying is literally as where the economy is. That's why we have to tune into Smart Business, because we can always tell you what's going to happen in the news.
They say through his job he feeds his siblings, and of course ailing mother. I think he has an ailing mother.
And remember we just talked about
him.
We just talked about how lucrative the tour business can be as a tour guide, right? There's so many places to visit, just showcasing. And I'm sure if he's able to feed his whole family, he's making a good killing.
You know, he's actually here. It's through his job that he fed his siblings and his ailing 46-year-old mother of 3, Penina Chomuhendo. So he's really doing something. It's really. I think the mother out there is like, oh my God, look at this youngling.
Entrepreneur, and I'm sure there's so many. And you know, we need to empower a lot of this.
6 years old for you when they tell you to take for someone take when they say someone.
Just show me the directions. Where's Ginger Road? Ginger Road is here. No wonder. Yeah. So yeah, it's true. And then we're also seeing here in the national news, Museveni directs pay rise to science lecturers. Yeah.
Wow. From teachers now
lecturers. So Kampala President Museveni has directed the government to increase salaries of lecturers lead teaching science programs in public universities. So that's interesting. They're saying that this order followed a statement by Professor Eli Katunguka, the Vice Chancellor of Chambogo University, who expressed concern over the challenges faced in recruiting and retaining senior lecturers. So we're seeing there's a retention issue with teachers and lecturers. So the fact that they've increased science lecturers, that is good for the science department.
If I would go back to school, I think I would do sciences because there's some money there. And of course, here government urged to fast-track registration of artisans and technicians. Of course, Indians claim for recognition legitimate, says the new envoy. And of course here to do with Israel Prime Minister announcing wartime emergency government to Gunters.
Interesting. So we're also seeing in the national news we're seeing questions over Bitature multi-billion power deal. So because the government doesn't have enough money to buy out Electromax immediately, the businessman, through his power company, entered into a 5-year agreement with the government, and the memorandum of understanding would be executed between the Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited and Electromax. So that is the power deal given to Mr. Patrick Bitature. Seems like very big money they're dealing with there.
Of course, NEMA suspends sugar factory. Water for domestic use contaminated, and livestock dead.
Right, and we're also seeing here Uganda to make HIV and malaria test kits.
Oh yeah, actually I saw that.
So it's very,
I saw that
yes.
there is a self-test, there is a swab. You can
Right.
do a swab
So you
for
can
those
swab.
that don't fear injections.
Or people who can have them at home and do them
I don't know,
themselves,
for some reason they give them to border riders. I don't know why.
I think maybe that's where they think the statistics of where the pandemic is.
Why the spreading goes around.
So we're seeing here, of course, Ministry of Health has revealed that the World Health Organization and Uganda Virus Research Institute has given approval to Microheme Scientifics and Medical Supplies, a local factory, to start manufacturing HIV, AIDS, and malaria rapid diagnostic kits beginning next month. That's a very good advancement in the health sector.
Well,
for
Muslims
Uganda.
seek 37 billion shillings for construction of the theological university. So this university is going to be for those that are interested into learning much more of Islam. It's theology. They also have theology, probably.
Oh, interesting.
For
so
Islam.
we're also, yes, that's good. So we're also seeing in the national news, a new report approves eviction of 200 Balalo. So we see here a new report authored by the Balado Verification Committee, released early this month, recommended that the government should evict the illegal herdsmen in north and northeastern regions. So Mercy, I don't know, have they evicted yet?
Oh. I don't think I have cows.
You don't have
Yeah.
right?
No. Of course, here, for those that are into politics, why MP Zake was referred to disciplinary committee, having said some words against Chinyamatama, the member of parliament.
I've seen that here, the news as
Oh my
well.
goodness, he has been in the disciplinary committee for
a while.
in and out.
We're also seeing here protests as firm destroys wetland in search of clear. You can check all that out in the national news and more. Check out the Daily Monitor and the New Vision. Right now we're getting into our traffic update.
Well, of course, right about now, as you can see right there,
This looks like it could be Chira, the Chira road heading from all the way. That's Bukoto, heading to Bukoto. They say there's a KFC there. That's the
Chira
road.
Road,
Yes. So there's the Gogo bypass. We're passing through this road.
today is a Friday. I'm really. Oh my goodness! Look at the cars.
That's interesting how basically empty the road
People
is.
actually, because you know why? Because people stay that side more, so
Yes.
they're like getting to work.
And I don't know, if you stay in Nigeria, that area, I think you start moving at 3 a.m. in the morning. Because whether it's a public holiday, whether it's not, one thing about
that's
Nigeria,
right, yeah.
you can stay in that jam for hundreds of hours. And I think it's because a lot of people have moved there. Many people have built, that's like the new Kampala sort of. We have Nigeria, Bulabila area, and what's that place, continuing all the way to Chira, and then Namugogo area, Chariwajala. Those places are heavily inundated with a lot of housing and stuff.
As well.
So you're right, so people going towards that area to work are fewer.
Of course there are few, because I mean there are a few people that work from that side.
So there's only most officers on this side. So do you know what needs to happen?
Have you noticed actually most of officials come from Kula and Bilo, they come from
A
Chisase.
lot, yes, Kula and Bino, Chisase,
yeah,
so many
so-
officials, so many because and justices as well.
Yeah.
So do you know what needs to happen, guys? We need to have more officers that side of town. So that the jam is reversed a little. Oh, there's a balance, because every office cannot just be the center of town.
Yeah.
The world is changing with everything in the center of town. That's why there's so much jam, especially without very poor road infrastructure. So we're seeing that the jam is actually quite clear on this road. The roads are moving. Roads coming from that side of Nalia, Chisasi, Chanja area that bleed onto that road are going to some people are heading all the way to Shira Road. Others are heading to Lugogo bypass. That is relatively clear. So if you're heading all the way to Bukoto area, if you're thinking of going to Bukoto, if you think of going to Nalia area, the road is seemingly clear as you go into that area. But also again, it is a Friday, so people start to move quite late.
Yeah, quite late, and of course thinking of how to escape throughout the working.
The work day. So people were so active on Tuesday because Monday was a public holiday.
Oh yeah.
So, and you know in Uganda, once there's a public holiday, their brain is almost like, how do I recalibrate, right? So they're looking for another.
How do I
One thing about Uganda, once they get a holiday, there's another they're looking for in the week.
Yeah.
So I think they're like Friday's the next one because they enjoyed Monday way too much.
Yeah. True.
So we're also seeing, yes, the cars that are going all the way to Chira Road, or those going to Mulago area, going to Wandegea, bleeding into Wandegea, and then turning to that area from Mulago Road side. That is quite clear, but we're seeing there's a slight stop from coming from the Chira Road heading into Bukoto area. There's more borders
Look
on the
at
road.
the collision there with borders.
Let me tell you, borders are like cars, and they're very entitled, right? So a border will be in front of the car.
I don't think the
and
cars
stopped.
are actually. If you drivers are a bit disciplined than border
No,
side.
borders have no care for the person driving. They will fight.
Even if it's a student trying to cross, they're gonna.
Right. They'll knock each other, they'll fight, they're always on the road, they break the traffic regulations.
I always tell my guys, I'm like, you know what, I'm not in a rush. How about you take your time, please?
Right, there's somebody like, why are you rushing to me, dear? Why are you rushing to me, guy? Like, relax,
I'm going home, relax. Come
it's
on.
interesting, yeah. So as we see that Lugogo bypass route is very, very clear. So if you're planning to use that route, if you're coming from areas like Bugolobi and you're planning to come this side of town, you can use the Lugogo bypass. It's much clearer as opposed to using just Ginger Road. You can turn through here, and then you're going through, of course, to Kololo area. If you're bleeding into Kololo and you walk in Kololo, there's a clear route
Oh yeah, and
from
of
there.
course, school students, realized when it was raining on, when was it? When it started raining in the morning, I realized that waking up,
Monday morning, yeah.
you know, we all have an obligation waking up. Whether it's raining, whether it's shining, if you're a school-going student, you have to go to school.
Exactly.
If you're a sweeper who sweeps along the road, you have to sweep it. Whether it's raining, whether it's because there has to be a good environment, you know, you have to wake up in the morning regardless of the weather. Anyway, that is it for our traffic updates. Of course, along Chira Road, for those that are coming in from that side of Bukoto, Tinda, Najera, just know there is some little bit of traffic, but it's in motion. And of course, don't forget that we are proudly brought to you by Zabo. So if you want to invest in government bonds and securities, Zabo says you don't need to hustle. You don't need to go for long queues, wait in the line. All you have to do is dial *292#. That is the USSD code. You can follow the prompts. Investment is as low as 15,000 again in shillings. And of course, their working time is from Monday to Friday, from 8:15 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. Of course, Zabo says, my money, my future. And of course, they're always powered by Altex East Africa, telling you to do something new. So just dial *292#. Learn about the product. You can go straight to the bonds. You can sell. You can buy. I mean, there is a lot Zabo has to offer for you. Like I said, investment is the lowest is 15,000 again in shillings. So you can choose to invest that or more, depending on how much you want your return in investments to grow. So, well, this is your plot today. When it clocks 8:15 a.m., start open. The markets of Zabo are open. Zabo says, my money, my future. Of course, they are powered by Altex East Africa. Well, of course, it is, we're going in for a short commercial break. And of course, coming up is East African news and international business news. Don't go away.